Hi, friends. Welcome to day 2 of Exodus chapter 17. I'm so glad that you're here. I'm glad to be here. This has been just an amazing passage, and we learn a lot about God. We learn a lot about what faith looks like, and definitely we see faith in Moses and Joshua and these other men, Aaron and Hur, and those who fight against Amalek and his people. So, let's just begin. Let's dig right in, utilizing those inductive study questions, helping us to be curious, ask questions, and then we answer. As we answer those questions, it's these answers that help us understand the passage, help us to interpret the passage. So the who is a little bit different today, isn't it? We have Amalek, and we have Moses, Joshua, Aaron, Hur, and the people. And this is the first time that we hear mention of Joshua. So we might want to ask, or at least I did, okay, who is Amalek? Like, I know from Bible study, I've heard of Amalek, and I have this distinct impression that God is not happy with Amalek and the people of Amalek. But I dug just a little bit, and I found in a cross-reference that this name is first mentioned in Genesis chapter 36, verse 16. Amalek was a grandson of Esau. Now, we don't know for certain that there's a relationship here, that these are descendants. Perhaps there are. But what we can know is where they come from, because verse 8 says, "Then Amalek came and fought with Israel at Rephidim." And I asked the question, where did Amalek come from? Numbers 13:29 lets us know that they come from the southern portion of Canaan. And friends, I utilize the Bible Map app, which we can go to Numbers. We can click on we can click on the place, and it will give us a lot of different information there. So just my little study tip for understanding places and people a little bit better. So why does Amalek come to fight the people? This is what happens, right? He comes to fight, but I want to know why. Why does he come to fight? This is completely and totally unprovoked. The people of Israel have not done anything to the people of Amalek. In fact, what we learn from other cross-references is that the people of Israel, they are dog-tired. They are tired and weary from their journey. They've been through a lot. Deuteronomy 25:17 through 18. Friends, this is a golden cross-reference that helps us put more of this passage together. "Remember what Amalek did to you on the way as you came out of Egypt? How he attacked you on the way when you were faint and weary and cut off your tail, those who were lagging behind you, and he did not fear God." He did not fear God. All right, so why does Amalek come and fight? Well, we know, if we go back and just think through all the signs and wonders that God has performed, all those many signs and wonders that he did within Egypt, and how he rescued his people, and then how he rescued his people at the Red Sea when he parted the sea and he destroyed the army of Egypt. This went out. Not only did the people of Israel hear about it, and the people of Egypt, this went out amongst the nations, heard about the Lord and heard about the rescue of the people of Israel. So we can know a little bit about Amalek and his people, can't we? Just by understanding this history of the Lord's dealings with Pharaoh and Pharaoh's army. Like, if the Egyptian army could not defeat Yahweh and his people, what makes Amalek think that he can. You know what I mean? I mean, implicit in this is Amalek and the people's pride. And implicit in this is that he has, and these people have, no fear of the Lord, which our cross-reference clearly states that. But just by their actions, we can see they have no fear of the Lord. What makes them think things are going to go better for them against Yahweh? And that is who the battle is against, right? I mean, Pharaoh thought he was in control over the people of Israel. It was clear as we studied those first few chapters of Exodus that the battle was not between Pharaoh and the people of Israel. The battle was between Pharaoh and the Lord. It was Pharaoh versus the Lord. And the same holds true here. It is Amalek versus the Lord. So we know how this is going to go down, but still, it's a fascinating story. I think it's just so important to understand and to see the pride and the lack of fear, the lack of knowledge, the lack of knowing the Lord here on the part of Amalek and his people. So we can ask that question then, how does this battle go? Like we already know. I've already alluded to it. Of course, you've already studied this passage. How does this battle go? Isn't it fascinating? It is fascinating. I think as we answer this question, I want us really to put on our ancient Near East Israelite glasses and try to put ourselves here in Rephidim and understand what this looked like. Understand what the people of Israel look like. We've said it before, friends. Here's a mass of Israelite refugees. They have been slaves. They are not soldiers. How many of them even have a sword? Such that Moses says to Joshua, "Choose for us men and go out and fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand on the top of the hill with the staff of God in my hand." Choose for us men and go out and fight with Amalek. I mean, part of that choosing had to be, okay, do they have a sword or not? What kind of ability do they have? So just putting on our ancient Near East Israelite glasses, I didn't mean to do that, and understand, look, these are slaves. They have recently been rescued. They have been marching, roaming through the desert. They are tired. They are weary, as we see in our cross-reference. So it's interesting to me, especially in light of what we studied yesterday, we don't see whining here. We don't see grumbling and complaining. No, we just see exactly what happens. Verse 9, I think we see such faith on the part of Moses and Joshua. So Moses said to Joshua, "Choose for us men and go out and fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand on the top of the hill with" what? "With the staff of God in my hand." And just remembering, as we have studied, hand is mentioned a lot here in this passage. Hand usually represents power and strength, and the staff of God it represents the power of God, and Moses can hold it in his hand. Here is something tangible he can hold on to and lift up, just as he lifted it up over the sea, and the Lord battled against this army of Pharaoh, the Egyptian army. So Moses is placing his faith in the Lord. He will lift up that staff of God. And I think implicit in this is a posture of prayer, right? When we get to verse 11, whenever Moses held up his hand, the cross-reference there is 1 Timothy 2:8. "I desire then that in every place the men should pray, lifting up holy hands without anger or quarreling." So this is Paul giving instructions to Timothy on prayer. So implicit in this is a posture of prayer and a posture of faith in the Lord. I love that. I love that. Um, Again, what do we learn of Moses? He has faith. He takes that staff of God and he is going to hold it up over those who are fighting against the people of Amalek. And then I just asked, what do we learn of Aaron, Hur, and Joshua? Friends, we can't minimize. They too have faith. Aaron and Hur go up. Where does Moses go? Up on top of the hill with Moses, and they are there with him. Moses gets tired. Their faith is in God. Their faith is in the power of God, symbolized by that staff being lifted up over the Israelite, I'm going to call them army, even though this is a bunch of ragtag. I mean, can we really call them soldiers? This is a ragtag bunch of soldiers. But Aaron, Hur, and Joshua, they also place their faith in the Lord. And all in all, we see courage, we see trust in the Lord here. Now, I've got so many questions that I have to answer. I don't even know. I'm sorry. I feel like I'm just rambling today. I did ask this: who is the hero of this story? That is one of our rules for studying Old Testament narrative. Clearly, the hero is the Lord. Like, is it Moses? No. Is it Joshua? No. Is it Aaron and Hur? No. All of these men have been brave. They have been courageous. We have to understand their faith in the Lord, and this is worthy to emulate. But the battle was not won by them. The battle was won by the Lord. And Moses, in verse 15, we see he builds an altar and calls the name of it, "The Lord is my banner." They will remember by building this altar that it was the Lord who rescued them once again. He is their banner. Banner is a piece of cloth that typically relates identification to those in the vicinity of the banner. It's like a flag. And if we think in the country that I live in, when I was growing up in school, we said the Pledge of Allegiance to the American flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. What is Moses doing? In essence, he is saying, I pledge allegiance to the Lord. The Lord is my banner. He is the one who covers us. He is the one who will rescue. So I love that. I love that. Now, just one more thing that I want to note, because I'm always looking to better understand prayer. And so this idea that Moses is lifting up his staff over this battle, and it is by, it's whether his hand is up or down, right? That determines kind of, the battle kind of mimics that, right? Maybe it'd be better if I just read a verse. Whenever Moses held up his hand, Israel prevailed. And whenever he lowered his hand, Amalek prevailed. But Moses' hands grew weary, so they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat on it, while Aaron and Hur held up his hands, one on one side and the other on the other side. So his hands were steady until the going down of the sun, and Joshua overwhelmed Amalek and his people with the sword. Oh, friends, what's the main point here of this passage? The people of Amalek attacked the people of Israel, but the people of Israel, we see them through their leaders here. They have faith in the Lord, and it is the Lord who prevails. and Joshua ends up defeating Amalek. But we see this beautiful picture of Aaron and Hur helping Moses. And we also see this picture of this posture of prayer. I think we learned something about prayer. So as in my application, see if this makes sense, friends. I see this surprise attack happen. The people of Israel were not expecting this at all. Here they are roaming in the wilderness. They are weary. They are tired. Yesterday we learned they had been so thirsty. They're just dog tired. Certainly they had to be feeling like circumstances don't make sense. And then, oh my goodness, there is this surprise attack on their journey through the wilderness. Can't we all relate to that? Sometimes we are on this wilderness journey. Life is hard, and boom, another surprise attack comes in from nowhere. And can we trust God in the midst of the surprise attack? And the answer is yes. Yes. Within it, I see we need faith. Moses had faith. Joshua has faith. Aaron and Hur, they have faith in the Lord, but they also have, we see Moses, Aaron, and Hur have this posture of faith while Joshua is going out to do battle. Friends, somehow we see this mystery of prayer and the importance of prayer. And I think we see the importance of not being alone, that we are to pray, we are to serve, we are to do battle with others as we walk in the midst of this wilderness journey. This will keep us standing in the midst of our surprise attacks. There's something beautiful about that. And it just made me think about praying with faith and praying with others. Like Jesus, he says, this is Matthew 18:20. I ran out of room to write it down. For where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I am among them. Don't we see that right here in Exodus in the Old Testament? Oh, God was and is and ever shall be the same, and his word holds true. Oh, together, let us link arms, let us link hearts with one another, with others, as we walk this wilderness journey, this heaven-bound journey that we are on.